And there we go, the green light is green. Can I say that? And we are about to embark on yet another weekly live stream. Live Friday weekly evaluation. I'm turning this more into a Q&A, but since the questions isn't really overwhelming me right now, it's still a bit of a self-reflection moment from the challenge, from the facing fear moments that has been happening throughout the week. So that is what this video will be all about. Discussing some fear in the context of my life and the insights I've gained. Helping you to do this journey as well. Before I get into the details, I'm gonna make sure that we got audio. This is a necessity because, as I always say, it has happened that the audio isn't working. Unfortunately, I tend to notice that after a complete live stream. However, I learn from my mistakes. At least in the technical aspect, that isn't always true when it comes to life. Okay, I see myself, I keep telling myself I look ugly like shit. That isn't building my self-esteem. I'm a beautiful creature no matter how the video is depicting me out there to you guys. But that hat really isn't showing off my best. I just came from an awesome workout, that's why I'm sweaty. And today I didn't even bother to switch shirt. Yes, you don't care about that. Perhaps you don't care. You do care, otherwise you wouldn't have been here. For today's tea session, I'm having a straightforward Lipton style actually. It's a caramel black tea, vanilla style. I usually don't do black tea because of the caffeine, but I'm mixing it up with a cocoa chai, caffeine-free sort. And the reason for the caffeine this morning is because on the weekend workouts, I do like to add some caffeine to boost my energy levels on the exercise. Only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because that's when the strength workout is happening. No, let's talk about the important things. Workout is happening. I got audio, nothing holding us back. So this week has been about facing our fears. That will from now on always be the topic, the main topic. I want to make this clear and direct. This is what this channel is about. Well, it's not only about fear. Facing our fears is how we reach the ultimate outcome of what this channel is all about. Freedom. Being free in our minds. So that means if we want to reach that state, we need to do some things. First off, we need to have a habit, a routine built in that makes us face our fears. It means that we need to have a filter, an awareness radar to pick up on all these moments when fear is approaching us. And now I'm actually jumping straight to the main point of this whole video, but why the heck not? Probably most of you guys isn't even gonna stick around to the end because I do tend to overdo these live streams. That's why I'm promising you this one is gonna be shorter than 15 minutes. Tops. The main thing, the outcome of this week, getting straight to the juice. The most important thing is that to have this little system within, to have this, I actually built a model out of it as a realization at the gym, going through the week and reflecting what has been important. I came up with a straightforward model, which really isn't a model. It's basically copied from the 6 pillars of self-esteem. There's 3 steps there for how to build your self-esteem up. The 6 pillars start off with 3 fundamental pillars. Being conscious and aware, being self-acceptant, and then taking responsibility. That's 3 of the pillars in how to live a life with high self-esteem. And these I've scaled down and applied on this whole facing fear thing. You see, if we live our days, go out there in the world, we will face different situations in all different life contexts, whether it's work, relationships, health and workout, all these different life areas. Face will be approaching us. Face will be present. Fears will be roadblocks for us to progress in these areas. But with this simple model, we can have a method for how we approach these situations. So first off, this awareness radar, being conscious of these situations, that's key. That's what we need to go through first in order to face them, to take the action necessary. But that's the first step. And this is not something simple. It's not like, yes, oh, okay, I'm going to be thinking about where these moments are and how they make me feel and such. No. Practicing awareness, it doesn't come easy, but it's a necessity. It's done throughout the days. Am I starting to stutter? It's done by practicing. Setting out like a goal. Today I'm going to be practicing awareness. I have built my awareness level through journaling, like throughout the day. I have had week challenges when I have told myself every hour I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna write in my journal on the computer or the phone. How am I feeling right now? What emotions are within? Just that whole thing. I've done that as a focused week challenges to increase my awareness. And I've also implemented a meditation routine to be one with yourself. I'm getting all philosophical here. No, but seriously, you need to have a way of pulse checking yourself, being able to pause and just sense what's going on. And that is the first necessary step to take us to the next step in this facing fear model I'm presenting here. Because okay, we have it. I need some tea. First, we identify there's a fear here. Okay, let's take this in the context of this week. My challenge was to approach some people and do an interview with them, talking about what freedom meant to them. So I realized the second day I hadn't been doing anything. I was able to pause and think about why wasn't I doing it, and I realized I'm suppressing it. I fear approaching people, asking for an interview. It's freaking scary. So in that moment I was aware enough to feel that I was pushing things down. I was being reactive to other things, and I didn't move it up as a priority. First step down, taken care of. Okay, I realized this is a fear of mine. Moving on to the second step. Define the outcome that is necessary to face this fear. And to relate back to the self-esteem pillars, because I kind of moved too quickly on that, you also need to accept that you are feeling this fear within. You see, my model isn't completely complete, and so this is like, man, I messed it up. First two step, I guess, is identify and then accept that you are feeling it. And then the third step is to define the action that is necessary for you to take. This is part of the taking responsibility. Zoom out again just to make it clear for you. Be conscious and aware. Realize that you are having a fear. Then accept this fear of yours. What is it? You have defined it. Just accept that this is what you're feeling. And then the third step, taking responsibility. That means defining what is it that you need to do to move you forward on this. What is hindering you right now from taking action? Or what will an action look like? For me, it was quite simple. When I realized, I haven't been doing any interviews, I was on my way home, so I said to myself, what can I do? Well, I have the camera in the back. It's raining outside, but I can give it 5 minutes to just at least ask a couple of people if they want to do that. It doesn't matter what the outcome will be, as long as I ask people. That was my minimum bar. That was my goal. It's a win if I just approach some people and ask them. Now, I'm not telling myself I'm going to do that in this stage. I'm just defining it. If we force ourselves already at this stage, I have to do this, it's scarier. Then it's easier for us to escape this third step, because our brain works subconsciously. It want to keep us from these, well, emotionally disturbing moments. And if my brain that knows that number 3 if my brain knows that number 3 means that I have to do something, it's gonna make me avoid even going to this step. But if the third step only is to define it, not feeling any pressure to do it, then we're better off. We will easily approach this step. Man. And then we come to the fourth step, taking action. This means that we ask ourselves, what would the ideal version of me do? Should I be doing this? Sometimes, maybe if you've defined something, this isn't really the time or the place where you should be doing this. If you feel like shit and the outcome would just be horrible and like an emotional scar. I mean, sometimes we're not at that place in time where we should be doing things. Sometimes we just need to recharge and give ourselves some energy. But asking yourself this question, what would the ideal version of you do right now? And if the answer isn't resting or something, and you do need to be aware of tricking yourself, telling yourself stories. But most of the times, the answer will be, for me, the ideal version of me has to do this. I have put this out in the world, now I just need to do it. And in that moment, as soon as I've said it, I make sure to act as soon as possible, using that momentum, not letting the time have a play in what is gonna play out, because time is not a friend in this scenario. Although when you develop this facing fear habit, the routine, you will be able to stand longer in the fear. You will be able to let time pass and not let it have such a great impact on you. But especially when you're new to this, just act. As soon as you've decided, act. And that was what happened in this week. I haven't released any videos yet because I've been working so goddamn much this week and last week too. But I went through this process and I had some great interviews with people, and I got to understand the topic of freedom, which means a whole lot to me, a little bit more. Maybe it's not so interesting for you right now, but that means that I can understand you more, and that means I can define this whole concept and niching my channel down, delivering better content and so on. Yeah, not of your concern, unless you have a question on it. But so, getting close to the 15-minute mark. Damn, I have so much to say. I don't want to be talking too much, because then the message won't go through anyways. And that's the gist of the week. Like, having this fear approaching mind being turned on. And even if the thing you designed to do, perhaps that's not. Sometimes we just take on the wrong approach, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily doesn't need to happen. Because look, the end goal here is to create the habit of facing our fears in different areas of life. And whether we do it here in the relationship area or in work, for sure it will have more of an impact in the work area if we only do it here, but there will be a spillover effect. It's a mindset about how we approach our fears, especially if we take on this model. That means, okay, the model I'm using here, it's so easy to just apply it here too. So with this thinking, with this mindset, it's much easier to grow all over your life areas, which is super important. And another reflection I just want to share. Damn, I just went over 15 minutes. I owe you one. Closing down. No, fuck, I have a... Oh, now I cursed. Why? YouTube doesn't like when I curse. Tea. Just to condense down what I'm going for here. One super duper powerful way to do this development journey if you're choosing a work or where you spend most of your time and you are forced to push yourself in these areas, like you don't have a choice. In the work context for me, I'm constantly pushed outside my comfort zone because that's just what's expected of me in my role as an engineer, as a consultant, and that makes me grow so much. But this also means that I really have to make sure that I'm in the right situation, so I'm growing in the right way. I want to be growing in like a coaching advisor role. I want to be growing in a marketing, creating content role more than as an engineer. But currently I'm growing so much in this like mechanical construction way, which really isn't it isn't aligned with my overall goals. So this is something I need to be asking myself, am I doing the right thing? And this is something you need to be asking yourself. What I am spending the most of my time with, is that taking me towards where I truly want to go? I mean, your work is where you spend your majority of your time. You have a responsibility towards yourself to go in the right direction. I mean, it's your freaking life you're playing with here. So that's why I'm having some tough conversations coming up with my boss in a couple of weeks, where I'm gonna see how we can make this change happen. And you have to have patience. You have to know where you want to go and work for that. Finding a solution, not being black and white about it. The patience part is important. That was the end of the week reflection part. I hope I shared some insights. Let me know down there, or if it was just gibberish. At least these reflections make me grow as a advisor, as a coach, and understanding this whole topic. So maybe even if the streams are shitty in the shape of content for you guys, hopefully it is enabling the rest of the content to grow, and hence it kind of is a necessity, because I'm simply not doing it to this extent if I'm not here with you doing this live. I don't know what that was, but the last thing before we are saying goodbye for this little live stream is that I promised to make this more of a Q&A. I don't have any live streamers here. I don't know if it's a lack of interest or if it's my choosing of time. It's early in the morning, Swedish time. I don't know what time it is in the other parts of the world. Maybe I should be considering doing it at a different time, but it suits me really good to do it in the morning because I have work to do. Let me know what you think. And the last thing, I did get a question in the week from Armando asking me about my take on comparing yourself to other people. Like he said that he looked at his friends, they were getting married, they had successful jobs and such, and he just felt like a failure. He felt like, man, what am I doing wrong? Why are they so successful and here am I just not, it's just not happening for me. And those words might just as well as come from me. I feel like this very often. I felt even more like this in the past. What's the difference now comparing to the past is that I found a security within. I built my self-esteem to a level that makes me be comfortable with who I am, my journey, how far I've progressed, and just a belief, a faith in that the path I'm on will take me to the right path. And as long as I'm doing this journey in an efficient way, as long as I am constantly evaluating my strategy, my process for taking me there, the actions that I'm defining to do in order to reach this thing, as long as I'm making sure to constantly improve on that and enjoy the journey, having fun with where I am, not telling myself, yeah, when I reach that thing I'm striving for, that's when I will be happy, that's when I'll be living. That's not what it's about. It's about enjoying but majority of your life to get there. It's about the person you become in the process of taking you towards your goals. That's what makes me comfortable in my level of output, how I live my life, because I have defined what I want to some extent. I'm constantly working on this, but it is ongoing, and I'm enjoying my way there, because I am asking myself these hard questions. You need to be asking yourself, what do I want? What is life? What can life give me that really makes me feel alive? And then defining what kind of actions you need to take to go there. Because another thing we need to realize is that these impulsive, because they are impulsive, these impulsive thoughts that keep popping up, I'm a bad person, why can't I be successful when everybody else is so successful? Why are everybody else so handsome and I'm just plain ugly? These down-talking negative thoughts, they are impulsive. You can't control them. And that's the mindset you need to have. They are beyond what you can control. That's just the way it is. And if you accept that it's not facts, it's just something that will pop up. Like I have these thoughts popping up, like when I'm walking by the subway, I see myself fall down and getting hit by a train. This is another example of impulsive thoughts I can't control. It's just happening. And the thing here, the power is to not follow these thoughts, to not let these thoughts grow within. If I have a thought telling myself I'm 30 years old and all these other people have accomplished so much, yet here I am sitting doing a live YouTube stream and there's one person watching, am I a failure? I've been doing it for 2 years, am I a freaking failure? But I know it's just stupid thoughts, because I'm so confident in the journey I'm pursuing. I'm so confident in the process. I'm so confident in that this is making me fulfilled, and I'm making sure to enjoy the process of taking me to where I need to go. I'm not having the ideal strategy right now, obviously, but I'm gonna make sure to find a solution. I'm gonna make sure to make this thing happen. If I don't let these negative thoughts take over, if I don't let them impact how I'm living my life, because then I will just be a miserable failing guy that didn't dare to go after what he really wanted to go after. So separating what's impulsive, down-talking thoughts that really isn't doing you any good, to what is constructive feedback thoughts that could make you improve your strategy and could make you actually make the life you want to live happen. Being aware, again, it all comes down to consciousness and looking objectively at the things that is happening within. That is super important. And maybe I was all over the place there. If you want my written answer, which I put out to Armando, just check down there in the description. I wrote it down a bit more condensed. Hopefully it will make more sense to you. But that is the end of this little live stream. I have been talking about how to approach fears in our everyday life, a little model I am using, which makes it easier, which makes it easier to apply in different life areas. Super good thing to have. Always try to find a framework for how to apply a method on different areas. It makes it more direct. And then I talked about how negative self-talk can really screw you up, but it's a matter of having a mindset for how to think about these things. It's just impulsive, shitty thoughts. And if you have a strategy for how to go where you want to go, you are all in the good. Although it does mean that you need some kind of base level self-esteem, kind of is what is holding you up. So with those words, I am closing this chapter down. I will see you on Sunday for the next week's challenge video. Oh, I just got up in my own head. You see, there was one guy watching, and then I got nervous, and then I was starting to have all these self-doubting negative thoughts because I got nervous. I started to stumble. Oh, what am I saying? I know I'm not perfect. My English is kind of shitty when I get this nervous, and I'm just not perfect yet. But this is a process. This is a process, and I am enjoying it. And I'm gonna make sure that I learn how to help you in a good way. I really am gonna do that. I feel this is my journey I have to make. My name is Alexander Nilsson. Free your mind, be yourself. See you on Sunday, and have a great weekend. Bye, guys.